What's the story with Mr. McGrory? Welcome to this week's episode of Numeracy News. This week we're going back and looking at division with integers again, just because we want to get fully confident with it. Make sure you are getting down the models that Mr. Watson goes through so you've got what one should look like. Okay, make sure you're following the SWB way so we can give you those golden tickets.
Thank you, Mr. McGrory. We're now going to go through dividing integers again, because we know that last week we went quite fast and we went a bit too far. What we're going to do is slow it down and give you the opportunity to take your time. The end of this lesson, this numeracy core lesson, if it is that we only do the examples, that is fine. Your teacher will judge whether we can move on or not, and you will have as much time as you need to write up the examples and understand them. For that reason, what I'm going to ask is that I'm going to initially read out the questions and ask you not to write down. Your job is to listen and to watch the board. When I've finished, I'm going to ask the teacher to stop the video, give you time to write them up, and then when the teacher thinks you are ready, we are going to move on. So we're going to start now by just looking at the anagrams if you were doing them whilst the teacher was setting up the video. Divisor, dividend, inverse and multiplication tables. If you got all four of those, well done. We're now going to have a look at question 1. So to start with, listen and watch, do not write. Okay, question 1. 135 divided by 5. What I divide by always goes on the outside. Okay guys? What I divide by always goes on the outside. Before I start doing the question as well, I'm going to write down my times tables of what I divide by to help me. If you need to count them out on your fingers as you go along, that is fine. Take your time, don't rush this step. And then, once I've got my times tables and I've set up my bus stop, I'm going to work through the problem. And I'm going to say this: what is in the inside is divided by the outside. So I'm going to start by doing the first number 1 and divide it by 5. It is not the other way around. It is always the inside number divided by the outside number. 1 divided by 5 is 0 remainder 1. It is 0 because 5 is bigger than 1 and therefore cannot be divided into 1 properly. So 0 would go above 1, and because we didn't divide 1, it carries over as a remainder into the next column. 13 is the next column now because I've put a 1 in front of the 3. 13 divided by 5 is 2, remainder 3. I know this because 2 times 5 is 10, using my list, and if I take 10 off the 13 that I started with, I am left with 3. So my 2, what my answer was, goes up above the 13. The remainder goes into the next column and turns it from 5 to 35. I then do 35 divided by 5, which is 7. If I count down my list, it's 7 times 5. There is no remainder because 35 fits, my apologies, 5 fits exactly into 35, 7 times. My answer is therefore 27. Teachers, if you would pause the video and give your students at least 1 minute to write this up. If they need more time, they need more time. When you think that they are ready, please unpause the video and start the second question. Well done guys, now it's question 2. 129 divided by 3. What I divide by goes on the outside of my bus stop. My bus stop is drawn big and neatly so there is space in between the numbers. I then write down my times table of what I'm dividing by. At this point, remember guys, you're not writing this down, you should just be watching. So let me repeat, what we divide by goes on the outside. My times table of what I divide by is written on the side, and then I start my question. 1 divided by 3 is 0 remainder 1. 0 goes at the top and the remainder goes into the next column. The reason it is 0 is because 1 is smaller than 3. Remember, we always divide what is on the inside by the outside. When I go into my next column, It's 12 divided by 3. Notice how I'm writing it down to help my memory. 12 divided by 3 is 4 remainder none. The 4 goes above the 12, and because there is no remainder, I don't put 0 there. I just leave it blank. I then work out my third column. 9 divided by 3 is 3 remainder none. My answer is therefore 43. Teachers, can you please stop the video and give your students at least 1 minute to write that down? If they need more time, they need more time. When they are ready to move on, we're going to start question 3, and then they can actually watch the video but not write. Question 3. So, we've got 272 divided by 8. It's the same as before. What I divide by goes on the outside. I write down my times table of what I divide by, and if I don't know it instantly, I count on my fingers until I get it right. I then start from the left and work backwards towards the right. 2 divided by 8 is 0, remainder 2. The 0 goes above the 2 and the remainder goes into the next column. 27 divided by 8 is 3, remainder 3. Well, how did I work out the remainder? I worked out that 3 lots of 8 is 24, and if I took it away from 27, I'm left with 3 left over. That is the remainder. So the 3 would go there and the remainder would go there. I then work out 32 divided by 8. 32 divided by 8 is 4 remainder none. So my answer in this question is 34. Okay, teachers, can you pause the video and can you give the students at least 1 minute to actually write down what they've just seen? And if they need more time, they need more time. When they are ready, press play again so that we can continue with question 4. Question 4. The last question. Same process every time. 441 divided by 7. What I divide by goes on the outside of the bus stop. I've spaced my bus stop out so I can put my remainders in if I need to. This is really important that we make sure that we write our times tables down. Don't skip that step. Always write it down. Take your time. If you don't know them instantly, work them out on your fingers by counting in ones. Now I'm going to start from this number and work backwards towards the right. 4 divided by 7 is 0, remainder 4. Because I didn't divide 4, it carries over to the next column. The 0 goes at the top. I now do 44 divided by 7. 44 divided by 7, looking at my list, is 6. Remainder 2. Well, how did I work out the 2? Well, I did 44, take away 6 lots of 7, which was 42, and realised that there was 2 left over. I put the 2 into the next column and I write my 6 above the 44. Finally, I do 21 divided by 7. That will equal 3, remainder 0. 21 is the third number in the 7 times table and there is no remainder. So my answer to this question is 63. Now teachers, could you give your students at least 1 minute to write that up? If they need more time, they need more time. When you are finished or you think that the students are ready to go have a go at themselves, you may turn the page over and allow them to try their own questions. If, however, you are not sure that they have understood this or that they have not written them down correctly, then you may go back and watch the modelling videos instead. It is okay if they only do the modelling questions. If it is that you're trying the next questions, good luck.
So, now that I've shown you what to do, it is over to you. Pencils and pens at the ready. Off you go.